How dangerous is Sen's Fortress? Very dangerous. Sen's Fortress was built with the specific intention of testing anyone who wanted entry to Anor Londo. Question is, how well would it fare in a safety audit? Sen's Fortress is many things, most of them unsafe, but you cannot say that the fortress doesn't hold true to its identity. Immediately as we step inside, there is a trap. If you don't pay attention, you will take 3 rusty arrows to the torso, turning your upper body into meat paste and forcing you to get a tetanus shot.
As a side note, a tetanus shot could set you back $50 to $250 US. That's something I discovered when Lost stabbed me with a rusty dagger. Not my favorite birthday.
Clearly this is a safety violation, but due to the obvious nature of the trap, I estimate the danger levels to be around a 5. I like this lizard guy though. He's kinda cute. Next up is the pendulum room. We call it that due to all of the swinging pendulums, if that wasn't clear. There is a lot of stuff to unpack here. First and foremost, I believe that these blades should all be classified as heavy machinery, and with that classification comes a ton of regulation. One major rule states that there should be no exposed moving parts, and I would argue that the entirety of this device is more exposed than a Minecraft YouTuber. Additionally, there is no signage, there is no emergency off switch, and if you are hit by one of the blades, not only will you be sliced through thoroughly, you will also be pushed off an unreasonably small ledge and die. If you don't die on impact, you may take a potentially lethal dive into a puddle of black goop. Oh crap! I'm sorry, my apologies there, sir. It seems like people down below can also be hurt, which just makes this place even worse. The workers down below may be hit by the eviscerated body parts of the travelers up above. This might be the most intense safety violation I have ever seen. This guy has no head. This is what happens when the workplace do not offer their employees the proper safety gear. The black goop on the ground is most likely tar, and while it's not supremely dangerous, a small amount of people have had severe allergic reactions to it. But mostly it's just irritation and maybe a rash or two if you don't clean it off your skin quickly enough. The main issue here though is that there's a ladder close by, and so the potentially sticky liquid may make it more difficult for you to traverse the ladder and may even cause you to fall if you're very unlucky. That's a safety violation. Sen's Fortress is confusing. How did this giant get here? For me, there's only one way to this area. It's through that ladder over there. But this guy could never fit on that ladder, not in a million years. Maybe he came from that door that you see in the distance that has been bricked over, but even so, how is he supposed to get back down? Jumping would definitely damage the guy, and while my safety inspections are normally focused on people of my size, I don't think we should disregard the safety of our larger brethren just because it's inconvenient. So I want to say that this is a giant safety violation. I didn't mention this earlier, given that I was focused on these deadly swinging blades, but this pathway is terribly maintained. I was willing to give the lizard folk that inhabit this place a minuscule amount of credit, given that the machinery here seems to be very well maintained, keeping that consistent swing. But look at this! This is awful! This is a safety violation, all on its own. How exactly am I supposed to get around this guy? And I'm much smaller than him. I might just squeeze my way through, but if 2 of these lizard guys walk over this area at the same time, they will not be able to pass each other. This walkway needs to be double the length in order for it to be considered safe. So that's another safety violation. I swear to Gwyn, Sen's Fortress is going to get fined into bankruptcy. I feel less safe than Will Smith at a comedy club. Here we have another trap, and this one is far more devious than the first one. Mainly because most of people's focus will probably be on that chest right in front of us, and when we step towards it and try to open it, bang! People die. Oh. See? Dangerous. Apparently, somebody thought it was a great idea to add giant rolling boulders on the only pathway that allows us to traverse up and down into the fortress. That's a safety violation. Die, don't die, don't die, do not die, do not die, do not die, do not die! We didn't die. I have never noticed this before, but there seems to be a small window showcasing an elevator going up and down. What's the point of this? This is exceedingly dangerous. If anybody were to stick their hand in there, or God forbid their head, it would get chopped off by the elevator going up and down. I don't even see a functional reason for why this elevator is here, and even if there was a functional reason for it, there needs to be some kind of door on top of this, or bars that prohibits people from doing something stupid. That's a safety violation. Another trap. But this one is set to liquefy your organs from the back if you step on it. That's a safety violation. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is next level irresponsible. That's a mimic. You can tell by its breathing. There it goes. And it is incredibly dangerous. Any mimic brought into storage anywhere in Lordran needs to be properly marked, and the area needs to have signage showing that there are mimics about. If it's just laying around like this, an unsuspecting adventurer might accidentally open it and get mauled. Whoever's in charge of equipments in Sen's Fortress needs to be fired. Here we have a classic From Software elevator pit, and an elevator with a very noticeable brown stain. That looks dangerous. Ah, that makes sense. That's a safety violation. That's not safe. Gotta run, gotta get up there. Come on, we can do it. Oh! This is the central ball mechanism in Sen's Fortress, and while I won't harp on it being unsafe, I do have to say that's a lot of gears. It seems a little over-engineered to me. These wall arrows are fascinating. There isn't much historical evidence that such mechanical traps were ever used in castle or tombs. There is some speculation that Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, had a setup of loaded crossbows to protect his tomb, but these rumors came from a fairly poetic analysis from the Chinese historian Sima Qiang around 100 years after the tomb's completion. Fun fact, the emperor probably died from mercury poisoning, since it was believed that mercury contained the secret to immortality. And now they are afraid of opening the tomb because the soil samples around it has revealed high concentrations of mercury inside. Mercury is dangerous, and drinking it is a safety violation. This pathway is so thin! Jesus! I don't think it can get worse. It got worse. Why is this bridge so thin? What was it made for? Sentient pieces of paper? And if the design doesn't kill you, if the traps doesn't kill you, the maintenance will. Look at all of these defects. This bridge is probably 2 or 3 months away from collapsing. That's a safety violation. Finally, we have made it to the top of the fortress, and I have to say, the view is magnificent. I especially appreciate these spikes jutting from the wall here. Normally they are supposed to keep invaders away, but I find that they double nicely as an extra safety layer to stop me from toppling over the wall and falling to my death. That's good. I should probably mention that usually when we reach this area we are bombarded with firebombs, but I had a little conversation with the fellow up there and he decided not to do that. So that's one safety issue away, I suppose. But next, we do have to find a bonfire, and I know where it is. It's actually over here. But I'm confused. There used to be a wall here, and the bonfire is right down below here. Now, in order to get to the bonfire, we have to jump down and sacrifice a bit of our ankles, and I'm willing to do that for the video, but I'm confused. If this wall was still standing, how do we get down to the bonfire? Also, if you have a little too much of a running start, you might get impaled on these things. So, that's a safety violation. No railings again. And the bridge has collapsed. But there are railings over there. I don't understand what goes into the decision making when it comes to which area gets a railing and which area doesn't. Here we have the castle elevator. And I have to say, I feel incredibly uncomfortable being lowered down here with nothing but a singular chain to keep us safe.
Most elevators have between 4 and 8 cables, so this is far below the safety standard. It's almost as Sen's Fortress is trying to get you killed.
I don't want to ride that elevator again. I realized that if I was going to take the stairs, I would have to go through all of the swinging blades again, so yeah, no, I took the elevator back up. I really do have to say, the view from Sen's Fortress is amazing. And also, the fortress's staircases tends to be solid. Not great, mind you, but that's fine, and there's even a little railing there. There's no railing here, but we won't harp on that too much. You get it. There's no railing. But there is a distinct lack of bridge supports. How did they manage that? The bridge supports are down, but the bridge is still standing. That's just a whole nother level of irresponsible. Here's something that I have never really considered before. What's the purpose of these towers? They don't seem to serve any function other than being ornate. There's 2 there, and there's 3 over there, all of which have a single gargoyle on them. Maybe there's some lore hounds in the comments section that might enlighten me, because I would like to know. Finally, we have reached the boss arena, and yet again I am disappointed. Look at all of this rubble on the ground. It would not take all that much time to clean this up and make this area more safe, especially given the fact that you have a fantasy version of a robot just standing there doing absolutely nothing. I have to say, Sen's Fortress is one of the worst places I ever had the misfortune to inspect. And here's Thumby with the final report.
Thanks, Lost. Sen's Fortress suffers from gross negligence in the following categories. No protective gear. Exposed dangerous machinery. Potentially hazardous chemicals. Broken infrastructure. A complete lack of safety railings. Potentially discriminatory lack of safe pathways for the giants. Big balls. Final grade is an F.